Welcome to the Rock is George podcast, episode 241, featuring vocalist ALEX MARTEL of the industrial metal act Deadly Apples, talking about their upcoming album, Distress. If I knew absolutely nothing about Deadly Apples, how would you describe the band's music to me?
I would say that it's pretty dark, intense, with heavier parts, softer parts, and yeah, I guess that would be my description. Although it's kind of hard to describe your own music in a way.
So, from what I understand, Deadly Apples is pretty much just you and drummer Antoine Lamonthe. He does the synths as well. How and when did you guys come together to form Deadly Apples?
Well, basically in our area, we're basically from the countryside in Canada, and when we were both younger, we most of the music scenes at that point here were essentially punk rock or hardcore death metal, and we didn't really fit into that. Like I was into getting into darker stuff like Ministry and Nine Inch Nails, Manson, um and that's really the what was attracting me at that point. And I basically heard a song from this band called Synthetic Use, which was right in that genre. And I was like, really? That there's a band in my area that I don't know about that does exactly this kind of music. And turns out the band was just him, making music on his own. And we essentially joined forces and just that's basically um, what turned into the current version of Deadly Apples.
Deadly Apples has released a series of singles this year that's leading up to the release of your debut full album, Distress. First off, the last I knew, Distress didn't have a release date. Is there a release date now?
Not yet. Basically, we're pretty much in a singles world now, so we try to release one song at a time, one single, one music video at a time. So each of them can have their own moment with their own visuals and everything. But it was important to us that when we started doing new music, that we would do a full album so that eventually, when the full thing becomes available, for those who are still into the album format, it still works as a full piece of art, with story from beginning to end. So it was important for us to do that so that, even though I guess it's more and more rare that people listen to full albums these days, those who are into it are really going to appreciate that. And those who are only into individual songs, can still appreciate one song or another on their own. So we're kind of just um, feeling it out and slowly releasing it. And eventually the full thing is going to be out.
Now, leading up to this eventual studio album, full album release, you've actually been working on the songs for quite some time. I've seen some material dating back to as far as the pandemic, so this really has been kind of a slow burn leading up to it, correct?
Yeah, and it may or may not be a smart way to do it, but it was important to us to do something different in the sense that it's so easy now for anyone to just make an album in your basement on your computer. And we really wanted to um, put more effort into it and go in a real studio and work with experienced mixers and different people, so to hopefully achieve a certain level of quality that I often feel is lacking, where people just release music really really fast. And so we did spend quite a lot of time probably at least on my part, overthinking a lot of it, and um, I guess on my bandmates' part too. Like some songs had like 10 different versions or something before getting to the final version. So yeah, we definitely took a long time working on it. We spent almost a year in LA working at a studio there. So yeah.
Let's talk about some of the music that you've released so far. You have a song out now called Sacrifice. Tell me what inspired this song lyrically, and then we'll get to the special guests.
Lyrically, I was just in a really difficult moment in my life, feeling like I was losing everything I had built up to that point, and just the feeling of falling into nothing, which is actually in the lyrics, and you know, kind of using some metaphors to express that, and also I think it's something that people can relate to in different ways with whatever they're going through in their lives. And yeah, it seems like it really resonated with a lot of people so far. So we're really grateful for that.
The track features Richard Patrick from Filter on vocals and Danny Lohner of Nine Inch Nails fame. For an independent act, these are pretty big names to have as guests on your song. How did you pull it off?
I had met Danny many years prior through Fat Mike of NoFX, who I've known for a long time. Back then, Mike was recording his solo album with Danny producing it, I believe, and so that's how I met him. And I grew up listening to Nine Inch Nails, so it was really cool to meet him. And he's like super nice, funny, humble guy. Um, and we exchanged information, and eventually, when we were doing the full album in LA, we needed someone to do the guitar parts and the bass parts. So called him up, and he was down to do it, which we're very we really appreciate it. And as for Richard, I think we're both following each other on Instagram, and when he saw that we were working with Danny, who he knows obviously, and also with Ben Gross, Ben mixed the album, and basically Ben had also mixed the first three Filter albums. So I guess all those things combined, he was just like, "Hey, I'd be down to come by," and he just came in, tried some vocals on three songs, I think. So that's how it happened. And Richard is also like super nice guy. Like also took us on a couple of shows and tours. So we're definitely thankful for these collaborations.
The drum kit that Antoine played on this track was the same one Lars Ulrich used on Metallica's Black album. Does Anton own this kit, or is it part of the studio where you recorded the song?
Well, we had to rent a drum kit when we were in the studio. So there's this company in LA called Drum Doctors, and they're like, everyone goes to them for any drum needs essentially. And they're the company that had rented the drum kit to Metallica for the Black album. So they own that kit and they still rent it. And when we saw that it was available, uh, even though our music is totally different from Metallica, it was pretty much Antoine's first favorite band when he was a kid. So it was really special for him to play on that same kit essentially.
Another track that you have out is Volatile or Volatile. That also features Richard and Danny. What inspired the lyrics to this one?
Um, that one was more well, I guess they're all dark. um uh yeah, that one was essentially just about the feeling of, you've already given everything and it's still not enough, and people want to take even more. Um, I'm probably not explaining it well, but in general, I kind of, I try not to spell out too much like the literal reasons or the literal meaning behind the lyrics, because as I said earlier, I kind of like that people can make their own interpretations and um, relate to it in their own ways.
Must have taken you a little bit by surprise that the track reached 100,000 streams on Spotify and 100,000 streams on YouTube.
I mean, we worked hard for it, so but yeah, we're definitely happy with how it turned out. And we hadn't released music in a long time before that, so um, yeah, we also got a lot of editorial support from Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, so we're really grateful for that as well. And I think the visuals of the music video also really grab people's attention. I think it's pretty unique, and that video and the one for Sacrifice, they were both directed by my bandmate Antoine, because he worked in the film industry for a long time, so he definitely has a lot of skills and talent for on that end. So yeah, we're really happy about the support we've been getting for it.
The music video, you premiered it at the Montreal Fetish weekend. Uh, I could see why. Did you attend the festival for the premiere?
Yeah, I did, and that was kind of a special experience. Um, and we actually had I don't have them anymore, but we did some actual deadly apples as a promotional tool. So it's real edible apples with the Deadly Apples logo carved on the apple, and there's a small leaf on it with a QR code that leads to the single. So we've been trying to do some out of the box ideas for marketing in person, since everything is so much online these days. So long story short, we had a team handing out those apples at the Montreal Fetish weekend, and it was a bit funny seeing, I don't know how you call them, but guys all dressed as latex dogs, basically, that like act like dogs. So we would like throw an apple at them, and they would like run and fetch it. So yeah, a lot of interesting characters at that event. But I think everyone who was there in attendance really appreciated seeing the premiere of the video, which that obviously has latex clothing in it. So they I think they appreciated the fact that we're kind of putting a spotlight on their subculture in a sense.
And they can take that apple and attach it to their ball gag strap if they want to.
Hopefully, yeah. It's a good promo.
You have another song out, "Envious and Little." You actually sing on this one. Tell me a little bit about it.
That's kind of a much heavier song. And we've actually been playing it live for a couple of years, so um, it felt good to finally release it. We didn't do a video for that one, but yeah, it's definitely less accessible, I would say, than Sacrifice or Volatile. But we did get great feedback on it, and uh, Danny also plays the guitars and bass on that song as well.
Back in May, Deadly Apples performed at Welcome to Rockville, which was at Daytona International Speedway. It featured Linkin Park, Green Day, Shinedown, Alice in Chains, a bunch of other big bands. You played the Wednesday night pre-party with Pop Evil, Nonpoint, Josie Scott of Saliva. How was that experience for you?
It was great, and we had huge turnout. It was packed, super intense crowd, huge mosh pits. Couldn't have asked for a better experience. And we were. Yeah, I've known Danny Wimmer for a long time, and it's amazing what he's built. And it was great to uh, finally perform at one of his festivals. And to me personally, just playing in Daytona, like I used to go to Daytona as a kid with my parents all the time, and that's where I learned how to speak English because I went to preschool there for a few months. So Florida and Daytona specifically always kind of felt like a second home in a way. So getting to finally play there was kind of a full circle moment for me. And also playing on the Daytona Speedway and just you know driving the van on the speedway was kind of a surreal experience beyond the actual show. So it was great.
Did you get to meet any of your musical heroes while you were there?
Um, I mean, I probably already met all of them, and we were fortunate enough to get a lot of great opportunities over the past years, like, touring with Korn and Rob Zombie, Manson, Deftones, like, um, we we definitely, we're definitely lucky in a sense, and yeah, it's always great to see some of those guys at events that we perform at. Or I often go to festivals on my own, just to catch up with other artists I know or people in the industry. So yeah, it's always great to see everyone again.
Does Deadly Apples have any plans for future live performances?
Yeah, we're actually working on some tour options for next year, some festival dates, but they haven't been announced yet, so I can't tell just yet. But we definitely want to do more shows. I really think that the best way to experience Deadly Apples is live because our live shows are very intense. And as much as I'm a very calm and quiet person, as you can see right now, like in everyday life. When I get up on stage, it's like a whole different side just comes out, and it's almost like an exorcism for me. So it makes our shows really raw and chaotic and intense, and I think people enjoy that, especially in the context of a lot of rock and metal being kind of safe and stale. People have been telling us that we bring back the danger to the stage, and which reminds me of some shows that I used to go to when I was younger, and it kind of felt scary in a sense, and you didn't know what was going to happen, if you were going to get hurt, or so if we can bring back some kind of excitement like that, um, that's you know that's definitely something that I think makes our shows unique.
Do you work on any other music projects in your downtime from Deadly Apples?
Not music projects, but I've been a festival promoter for a long time, and I still do event consulting with some big festivals. So, I guess it's still in the music world, because that's my passion essentially. Um, but yeah, I do work on some other projects as well outside of music. And my bandmate Antoine, he recently started scoring films. So so yeah, but Deadly Apples is our only band basically. So that's our focus.
Is Deadly Apples your first band?
Yeah, I always say that the current version of Deadly Apples was formed in like 2017, but I had previously used that name like when I was a teenager. And there was just something about that name that I always liked, so I kind of just kept the name for the current band. But yeah, I guess you could say that that was my only band basically.
Was there something that inspired the name Deadly Apples? Did you see it somewhere, read it somewhere?
The first show I ever did was a talent show at my high school, and we were just like doing a cover, and we didn't have a name, so the guitar of the guitar player was green and the bass was red, and one of the guys just said, "Oh, we should call ourselves the Apples," which was totally silly. But afterwards, I the word kind of stuck with me, and I was just trying to think of combining it with a different word, and just came up in my head. And I just like the fact that, again, everyone can kind of make up their own meaning. People often think it has to do with Snow White or with the forbidden fruit. So, it kind of feels in the same vein as Smashing Pumpkins. I always liked that band name, or Nine Inch Nails. um I don't know, I just personally always enjoyed that name.
Now, whereas the material that you've been releasing as singles is a little bit on the older side for you, have you been working on new Deadly Apple material?
I mean, I have tons and tons of lyrics, and Antoine has tons of music. So uh, we still have a lot of new music to release from the album, but we definitely have lots of other material. And there's a lot of songs that were written for the new album that ended up not making the cut that we might revisit, because we only picked, I think there's like 12 tracks. So we only picked those 12 that fit in that story, in a sense, so that it makes sense for those listening to it who will listen to it as an album.
You have the 3 singles out now. When is the next single due?
Aiming for the beginning of next year. So we're actually working on planning 3 new music videos, which should be done very soon. So yeah, we're looking forward to releasing more music, and hopefully people will enjoy it as much as the last songs and music videos that we released.
Well, Alex, those are all the questions I have for you today. The Deadly Apples has 3 singles out right now: Sacrifice, Volatile, and Envious and Little. They sound great. I wish you the best of luck with them and look forward to what you have in the future. And I want to thank you for taking the time to tell me more about Deadly Apples today.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for having me. Much appreciated.
Once again, I want to thank Alex Martel of Deadly Apples for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out their latest singles, Sacrifice, Volatile, and Envious and Little, out now on your favorite music streaming platform. For all things Deadly Apples, head over to their official website, deadlyapples.com. I also want to thank Shauna O'Donnell of O'Donnell Media Group for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. Discover your next favorite artist on the Rock is George podcast.